So whenever someone asks me about a good laptop recommendation under 80,000, I always have a good list of options. There are multiple brands, multiple options out there. And yeah, there are some pretty good options that you can recommend. But if you ask me that personally, like Varun, would you go out in the market and buy one of those laptops? I would probably not. It's probably because I have a very specific set of needs from a personal device, and there's practically no laptop on the market that fulfills them. At least I thought that there was no laptop that fulfilled my needs till Fujitsu came back to India and sent me the Fujitsu UH-X. Honestly, this is the first laptop in a very long time which I feel completely satisfies all of my needs and is probably the best productivity oriented ultrabook laptop out there. So what exactly are those needs and how does the UH-X deliver on all of those fronts? Well, let's find out. This is Varun from GTR and you're watching my in-depth review of the Fujitsu UH-X. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start off with the design first, and it's evident. I mean, you're looking at it on the screen and you know, okay, this is a very boring design, and I couldn't agree with you more. This is a very boring design. Nobody's going to say, oh, what laptop are you using? Nobody's going to ask you that because this looks very plain, very boring, very minimal branding, and that's it. But yeah, I mean, that has been Fujitsu's game all along. They've never been a flashy brand. They've been focused more towards productivity. The UH-X is the lightest 13-inch laptop in India, weighing at just 878 grams. Yes, that is even lighter than the LG gram. I mean, seriously, you hold this thing and you don't feel anything because it's so damn lightweight. And despite having plastic, this thing is still built like a tank. There's not a lot of flex anywhere and the hinges are quite sturdy. And Fujitsu claims that the laptop is tested for drops and shocks as well, so no issues there. Also, this color that I spoke of, yes, it does not look super premium or something, but there is a good side to that. This thing almost never attracts smudges or fingerprints, so you don't have to carry a cloth all the time to clean your laptop. This thing is clean almost all the time, so that's pretty good. Also, the laptop lifts off its surface a bit when you open the panel. Now, it's not as good as Asus's Ergo Lift hinges that I admire quite a lot, but this is a definitely handy addition for thermals, which I will be talking about in a performance section. Then there's the I/O, and that is definitely my favorite part. You know, in a world where manufacturers say, oh, we cannot fit this port in this machine because it's too slim, the Fujitsu literally gives them the finger. Just look at the port selection on this. On the left side, we have a Kensington lock, two USB 3.2 Type-C Gen 2 ports, a full-size HDMI port, a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A port, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Flip on and the other side you get a RJ45 port, another USB 3.2 port, and a full-size SD card reader. I mean, come on, I dare you. I literally dare you to find me another laptop on the market. Forget the price range. I'm talking in general, find me another laptop that offers these many ports. Seriously, and that's not even where all the fun ends. These two Type-C ports, they support display out and USB power delivery. This single Type-A port, they supports USB delivery even when the device is off. So you can just turn off the laptop, put it in your backpack, plug your charger here, and use this entire thing as a power bank for your phone. I mean, if I really have to complain, I would have said that, okay, maybe they could have removed one Type-C port from here and put it on this side so that, I could just plug my charger on either sides. But that's literally nitpicking because nothing even comes close to the kind of I/O that this laptop offers. And okay, there's another thing that I really like. Right above the keyboard, you have dedicated LED indicators of function lock, num lock, caps lock, scroll lock, and the power light. Alright, so moving on, we have the brilliant display here. Spec-wise, it's a great panel, and the fact that this is a 100% sRGB display really makes everything all the better. See, for me, that matters quite a lot because I use my laptop for working on Photoshop or doing camera comparisons, and I need a color-accurate display for that. This thing works amazingly well for that. There's also the small sensor right below the display to check for room's lighting and automatically adjust the panel's brightness. Now, while I personally max it out at its peak of 400 nits, the feature is definitely handy for folks who do prefer it. Next up, we have the keyboard right below it. And for a typing enthusiast like me, the keyboard is one of the strongest deciding factors on any laptop whatsoever. Even with my large hands, I was able to adjust to the layout here perfectly. The keys are well spaced out and the key travel feels good. There's also nice clickety sound here that I admire. Also, one minor flaw that I notice is that while speed typing, there are some keystrokes that are kind of missed. It happens often enough for me to notice that yes, there's an issue, but not as often for me to consider it as a major flaw. Now, speaking of the layout, notice the numbers printed here. So here's a cool thing. You can enable the function mode, turn the numlock on, and then use this as a proper numpad when working with numbers in apps like Excel or Tally. I personally love this implementation. I mean, it's just so practical. It just goes with the whole theme of being super productive and practical. Below the keyboard, you have the touchpad, which comes with dedicated left and right buttons. Now, I know folks who prefer having a forced touchpad, and I get that everyone has their preferences. But at the same time, I still think having dedicated left and right buttons make all the more difference. See, here's what I make of it. Either you give a good forced touchpad, which is as good as Apple offers on the MacBook lineup, or you give us something like this, which at least delivers on the productivity front. I have faced zero, and I mean zero issues with this touchpad, no issues with palm rejection, no issues with gestures, everything works super smooth, and the left and right dedicated buttons make interacting with menus and right clicking stuff far too easier as compared to not gestures but like double tapping your fingers on the touchpad. Obviously that still works, but at the same time having dedicated buttons for it uplifts the whole experience. Next up, we have the webcam at the top, which isn't the best, to be honest. I mean, the noise and grains are one thing, and another thing that I would like to highlight is that this is the studio lighting that I'm standing in, and still my face is not as well illuminated as it ideally should be. The frame rate is fine, no issues, but yeah, I mean, the face lighting could have been better. Nonetheless, this is still a very good camera for video calls, but I wouldn't expect doing anything more out of this. The laptop also has good mics apparently, which I guess I'll let you guys be the judge of. You do have a physical privacy shutter at the top, so that's good. As for audio, we have bottom firing speakers in the front. Now they can get loud, but lacks that quality. However, if you're a good pair of headphones, the laptop comes with DRAX audio software, which makes the listening experience really good. Now, before I talk about the performance, a bit on the software front here because there's quite a lot to talk here. Let's get the basics first. This thing comes with Windows 10 Home, single language, and a licensed copy of Microsoft Office Home and Student 2019. Additionally, Fujitsu has a function manager software here. Now you can use it to change the Type-C port's functionality, adjust the fan's operation, toggle between function keys and hotkeys, and have a dedicated battery utility. However, undeniably my favorite tool here is the application panel utility. So what it does is that you can assign an app shortcut here. Once you've done that, just press the echo key on the keyboard and it will launch your set app. Okay, so in terms of performance, these are the specs of our unit right here. There's a higher i7 variant also available in the market, but I feel confident in saying that the i5 version is going to be more than enough for most users. See, there's a catch here. The upgrade in performance from going from i5 to i7 isn't going to be much. The major improvement that you'll see is in terms of RAM, going from 8GB to 16GB. Now, to Fujitsu's credit, they have still given us dual channel support in the UH-X. I mean, that is a feature that's not found across any other 8GB laptop on the market right now. So the fact that this thing still comes with dual channel means that although yes, certain apps like Chrome can max out your RAM, your performance is still going to be much better than other i5 8GB laptops. So like I said, the performance has been great. Now, while Chrome easily maxes out the available RAM, I haven't noticed any lags or performance issues whatsoever. Working with multiple desktops, having 10 open tabs in Chrome, everything works seamlessly on the laptop. Digging inside the laptop is also super easy. Just flip the back and unscrew everything. You can change the PCIe SSD and that's about it. Now, one thing that I really like about the UH-X is that this kill switch right here. So in case your laptop hangs on you, which is an often occurrence with Windows, you can just press this button and it will break the battery's connection, thus forcing a shutdown. Lastly, there's the battery life, and you get a 50 Wh battery here, which the brand claims can last you up to 11 hours. Of course, that's on the power saving modes, but in realistic use case, with all the uses that I just talked about, I was able to squeeze about 7 hours of battery backup with this thing, and that's phenomenal. The interesting part here is the charging. So obviously there are other laptops in the market as well that support USB PD, but there's always a catch with them that they don't really support lower wattages. I mean, they'll say that they're charging, but it's technically just trickle charge, or just keeping the battery intact and not letting it drop. With the Fujitsu UH-X, well, this is really fun. The company claims that you can charge it from any charger that's rated for 7.5 watts or higher. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that you take your UH-X and plug it into a Type-C charger that outputs at 7.4 watts. Obviously, not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is that this thing charges very, very well with power banks. So you can literally use it on the go and yeah, it will properly charge. So what's the verdict here? I mean, do I really need to highlight more on that? For 80,000, this thing is a steal. It's a no-brainer. I mean, I understand this is not a flashy laptop. You're not going to go around saying, hey, check out my new laptop that looks so good. But I'm guessing that's the whole point here. This is all about productivity. This is all about getting your work done. And honestly, if I was in the market going to buy a new laptop for myself, this is what I would be buying. The UH-X is perfect for me and for people who value productivity over everything else. Also, quick heads up, I know a lot of folks who might now be interested in the UH-X might be considering, okay, but what about service? Well, Fujitsu is working with Lenovo for taking care of all of their servicing and repairing. Also, the laptop comes with 2 years of warranty on parts and 1 year of warranty on battery, so even that's good. And well, that was it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more awesome tech content. Also, we have the buying links for the UH-X down in the description box, so if you're interested in buying this laptop, please buy it from the links down below. Genuinely helps us quite a lot. Till then, this is Varun from GTR, and I'll see you in the next one.